Hey, good morning, and welcome back to Travers Talks. It's July 24th, 2026, and here's what's happening around Grand Traverse County this week. Let's start with a gut punch for the cherry capital of the world. That freak April frost didn't just dent this year's tart cherry crop, it wiped out most of it. We're talking 70 to 80%, folks, losses across the region. Michigan normally supplies about 70% of the nation's tart cherries, with growers usually bringing in somewhere between 170 and 200 million pounds. This year, it'll be under 50 million. Industry voices are calling this the worst than the infamous 2012 disaster because our reserve inventories were running low before this was hit. And some growers have already canceled U-pick for the season. Remember, this comes right on top of the export tariff squeeze we've been tracking all this year, and it's a defining economic story for this region in 2026. You might remember we also discussed the immigrant farm labor problem that the agricultural industry was experiencing here in Traverse City. So we've got some real issues going on unfortunately, with the farmers. Okay, sticking with tough numbers, Traverse City commissioners are staring down a $44 million gap between what the city currently spends on roads and what it would actually take to meet its pavement condition goals. On top of that, commissioners are also weighing changes to who's responsible for sidewalk snow removal. Nothing's been decided yet, but if you drive or shovel, and of course you'd have to do both here in Traverse City, this is the one to keep an eye on. And I remember Dan Watkins, so this was last year when he was giving his report to the county commissioners. He did a study and to find out how much it would cost to do all of the roads properly in Grand Traverse County. And I believe the number was somewhere north of about $200 million. And he only spends, or the county only spends, about $18 million resurfacing and taking care of the roads. So roads are a problem here in northern Michigan. In the city government news, the on-again, off-again downtown tax increment financing plan is finally headed to voters. The city commission approved revised ballot language for what's now called the Infrastructure First Plan. It's that successor to the old TIF 97, projected to capture just under $140 million over 20 years. Commissioners had rejected an earlier version of the wording earlier this month. This revised version uses the district's historical growth rate instead of a lower inflation-based estimate. Voters get the final say in November. In that same meeting, commissioners also made two-way traffic on State Street permanent. Yay! God, I didn't want to see that go to one way. I just got used to the two-way, so, well, I guess it's going to be permanent now, so that's great. Out on Old Mission Peninsula, neighbors living near the base of the peninsula have been fighting Consumers Energy over an easement dispute. And good for them, they just went around. The Michigan Public Service Commission has granted them a formal public hearing on their complaint. And we're going to keep you posted as that one moves forward. And turning to national news that hits close to home, and that's literally President Trump, and some of you may have heard this, has announced fresh 50% tariffs on a range of Canadian goods, including beer, hockey sticks, of all things, milk and chemicals, set to kick in within 30 days. He says it's payback for what he calls unfair Canadian treatment of U.S. autos, alcohol, and dairy. I don't know what Trump has got against Canada. It's absolutely crazy. And even the Wall Street Journal's own editorial board tore into the move, writing that the president is, quote, whacking Canada harder for punching back after his earlier tariffs already backfired on U.S. businesses. This trade fight has already been hammering American tourism towns along the Canadian border. One Vermont senator says Canadian visits to his state are down 40%, and researchers estimate the broader pullback has cost U.S. border markets between 14 and 42,000 jobs. For Traverse City, where Canadian travelers make up one of our largest international visitor groups, this is a story that we're going to keep watching, and we'll follow up at the end of the summer season and see if we can get an estimate as to what this wacky tariff business has been costing us this year. Hey, on a sweeter note, Grand Traverse Pie Company is celebrating 30 years of serving up pie right here in Traverse City. 3 decades of cherry pie, and honestly, in a year where the actual cherries are in short supply, that's something to raise a fork to. Anyway, congratulations to Grand Traverse Pie Company. If you get a chance, stop in there. Their food and their bakery goods are absolutely delicious and just a great asset to the community. Anyway, folks, that's your Travers Talks news wrap for the week. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Take care.